Hey folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey. Today we're taking a look at this little guy right here, the Dwarf King by Bruno Faidutti, just reprinted by Iello, and comes in a really neat little magnetic clip box. Really like these boxes, really neat. It's basically just a trick-taking game where you are able to play out just normally, but there are a few twists and curves in this trick-taking game that really make it stand out a bit from your normal run-of-the-mill trick-taking games. So let's get down to the table and I'll show you. In the Dwarf King, there are three suits of cards. You have red, which is goblins, blue, which is knights, and green, which are dwarves. And then you have two different kinds of cards, basically. You have special cards, which are 1s and 11s from each of the suits, and then there are unsuited magic cards that are considered part of the special cards. And then you also have basic cards, which are your basic regular kind of 2 to ace kind of cards in each of the three suits. And then there are also these guys right here that look like special cards, but they actually aren't. They are basic cards which just give you different abilities during each round of play. For example, if you have the Goblin Musician, then you are going to lead the first trick with a card of your choice. You don't have to lead with the 5, it can just be with whatever card you want to be. If you have the Musician, the Knight Musician, you are going to choose one of the two scoring rules on the quest tiles, which are these guys right there. Dwarf Musician, then if you take this card, you become the dealer for the next round. So if you win this card in one of the tricks of the round, you will become the dealer the next round. So these guys are in with the regular basic cards at the beginning of the game. Once you've shuffled it together, you will place it there and it becomes a special draw deck with a discard pile next to it. And you would flip the top one and this gets added to the rest of the basic cards in order to take place in the round. Once the special card is added to the other basic cards, they're all shuffled together and dealt out evenly amongst the players. And so what then would happen is whoever had the 5 of knights, or the blue 5, would then get to take the top tile here, a quest tile, and look at it. And then they would be able to choose either this rule or this rule that will govern how tricks are played out. For example, if the standalone rule was chosen, it says score 5 points if no other player took the same number of tricks as you did. Or he could say regroup, where you score 5 points if at least one other player took the same number of tricks as you did. And these are the only points that are awarded for that round if one of these two conditions are met, whichever one is chosen. So then play would continue like a regular trick-taking game where one suit is led and that suit has to be followed. If the suit cannot be followed, if you don't have, for example, if red is played, led in the trick and you don't have red, you can play whatever you would like. Okay, so let's say that this player over here chose the stand alone, be the only person to have the same number of tricks, that nobody else has the same number of tricks as you did, and if that happens, you score 5 points. The person with the red 5 would then begin play, and he doesn't want to stay in the lead for very much longer, so he'll play with the 3, and then he looks at his cards here and says, you know, I'm probably not going to win this anyway, so I'm just going to play that. And he says, okay, I can win this one. I'm going to play that one. And he says, you know what? I'm not going to win. I'm just going to play my lowest blue card. I have to follow suit, but let's just get that one out of there. So this player wins. They take that trick. Now they can start. And they're going to continue. I'm going to win another trick. So he plays the ace here. And here, oh, I'm not going to win that one. So play that. Over here, definitely not going to win. So I'm going to play that. And this person just chooses to play the 7. All right, so that's the second trick that he won. And play would continue. So at the end of the round, again, we're scoring 5 points if no other player took the same number of tricks that you did. So these 3 players all took 3 tricks each. This person is the only one that took something that took a trick and nobody else matches them. So this player would score 5 points. These players would score nothing. Then whoever ended up at the end of the round with the 5 of dwarves in their trick piles would take up all of the cards, shuffle them back together. But this time we would take the special card that we did use this turn and put it aside, taking another card off the top of the deck, adding it to the base cards, shuffling them together, and doing another round. And then you continue this way for 7 rounds, and at the end of 7 rounds, whoever has the most points is the winner. Just to give you an idea of some of the other rules that could be in the play. For example, this one, Knights and Royals, you score 1 point for each Royal, which is a Jack, Queen, King, or Ace, and Knight, which are the blue cards that you took. So you're going to get 1 point for every blue card and Royal card that you took during the course of the round. But Royal Knights or Royal blue cards score plus 2 points each. So you could do that one. This one says without Knights and Royals, which is the exact opposite of this. Instead of scoring 1 point, you're going to be negative 1 point. Dwarves, 8 and 9, you score 1 point for each dwarf, 8 and 9 that you took. And then additionally, the 8 and 9 of dwarves scores 2 points each. Or the exact opposite. Some of the other special cards that are in the game are the Druid. If you play this card, you swap your hand with another player of your choice after that trick. The Standard Bearer for dwarves. If you take this card in a trick, you score 3 points automatically. The Shaman Goblin. If you take this card, you're going to score minus 3 points. Then you have these magic cards that don't have a suit, but can be played generally at any time. For example, this card, the Doppelganger, is a copy of the card played just before it, but it ranks just higher than that card. So that's a little magic card. The Dragon, you can play this card even if you have cards of the required suit. The Dragon wins the trick unless a champion, which is an ace, is played. If a champion is played, the champion wins the trick, even if it is not in the required suit. The winner of the next trick scores 3 points. This card has no effect if played in the last trick of the round. So you can kind of set yourself up to score more points if you know you're going to win that next trick, and so forth and so on. So again, it's basically just a really simple trick-taking game, but there are a few twists that make it just different enough to be interesting. And so that is The Dwarf King by Bruno Faidutti, put out by Iello. It is probably one of my favorite designer style of trick-taking games. Usually when these designers come out with a trick-taking game, they try to change the whole idea of trick-taking a little bit too much for my tastes. They throw in too many convoluted rules and too many twists and too many bumps and bruises, and it's really just a convoluted mess sometimes with these trick-taking games. This, really not so. It's very basic in its trick-taking playing style, and it is not difficult at all. You can actually keep score in your head, which is kind of a bummer that there isn't a scoring track or something like that to keep your score on. But at the same time, it's so simple. You only score 7 times, and you're able to keep those numbers in your head throughout the course of the game, so that's not a big deal for this one. As I was just playing this last night, wanted to get another game in before I did my review today. The people I was playing with, one guy was getting trounced. He had a negative score almost the entire game, and I'm pretty sure he actually ended with a negative score at the end of the game. But during the course of the game, and he reaffirmed after the game was over, he said, "This is going on my wish list." You can be getting trounced in this game, and it doesn't really matter. It's so light. You're still having fun. There's camaraderie, table talk going around. That's one of the things that I like about trick-taking games. And sometimes with all of the convolution that gets added to them to try to make them stand apart from your traditional trick-taking games, that's lost with some of these designer games. But this one, that doesn't happen. There's only one special card that has a slightly different rule in it. the rules that are changed from round to round are so simple that they are not difficult to understand, and you know what you need to do throughout the course of the game, or that round rather, to either win or not win tricks. I've played it with gamers, I've played it with my family, my kids, and it has gone over very well in all of those situations. So 2 thumbs way up for me for the Dwarf King by Bruno Faidutti. Go check it out, and hey, we'll see you on the flip side, folks.